So I think we're going to make a little start. If you have a yoga block, that would be marvelous. If you don't have that, but you can like roll up a towel or something so you get something cylindrical that we can use in place of a block, it just is useful to have, or even a rolled up blanket, folded over pillow, something like that. You might not need it. It's just good to have options. And then with that in mind, we're going to make a start. I'm just going to straighten that camera up. And any injuries, please feel free to just drop me a little direct message, even if it's like sore parts for today. So any sore spots, tight spots, just drop me a little line and it'll just help me with the narrative of the class, with anything that we need to work on. To start off with, start seated upright. So that might mean sitting on a block, that might mean sitting on a pillow. Just something that allows you to feel some length in your spine without it being a challenge. It can also be useful to support your back against the wall, so you're upright completely, so you get that support for your back. Begin to set in place the building blocks of a yoga practice, so that is focus and attention. So close your eyes and start to deepen your breath. So making a switch from the unconscious breath that you have all day long to a very deliberately deep breath throughout the session. Aiming to do an inhale for a count of 5 and then exhale for a count of 6. And using that as the framework for our practice today. So if you're newer to yoga, make this your priority. In every pose, be in a comfortable and steady place and come back to this type of breathing. One of the most commented things I get from people starting out is this whole breathing thing is tricky. It is, but you get the hang of it. Just you'd be amazed what you can get the hang of. So practice it and see how it changes the poses. So moving straight away into a cross-legged forward bend. If you're sitting on a block, it may be more of a lean forwards. Alternatively, use your hands behind you to help press yourself forwards, or take the hands forwards and fold over your legs. So it doesn't need to be very far. If you feel like you're really rounding your back, instead focus on lengthening the chest forwards and up, especially thinking about the shoulders and the neck. If it's excessively rounded, lengthen forwards. Now, in particular, if you find that you're spending more time at a desk, these sort of rounded, flexed positions for the upper back, you want to build postural awareness by lifting through the back of the skull, tucking the chin and scooping the chest forwards. Now that can be done pretty much at any depth of the forward bend, so just see what feels relevant for now. Reconnect to deep breathing, so maybe abdomen is expanding against the legs. Inhale, bring yourself up, change the cross in your legs. Before we do this one, brace your hands against your shins. You can do this sitting on the block, just it can be a wee bit precarious. On your exhale, curl your pelvis under, so you're rounding into your lower back. Inhale, do the opposite, so lift up, and then try and stick your butt out. Chest stays lifted. Exhale, curl tailbone down and under. Inhale, lift up, pull with the arms and point the butt back. Now this time, with your arms pulling, draw your shoulder blades down, so aiming to switch on through your lats. This will help you isolate the lower back. Exhale, curl tailbone under. Inhale, lift, see if you can tip the pelvis forwards. Exhale, curl tailbone under. Inhale, lift up. Now this time, pull with your arms, lean your chest forward, but see if you can stay in that kind of butt stick out position. So here we are coming back into this forward bend. Perhaps hands are coming forwards. Perhaps hands are going forward still. You might find that hands behind you and pressing gives you a really good way to navigate forward bends whilst staying vigilant with the shoulders and the upper back. So see what feels relevant. If you haven't clocked already, we might be doing forward bends. It's a safe bet. All right, inhale, bring yourself up. Bring the soles of your feet together. Now, in this position, this is Baddha Konasana. In Baddha Konasana, move your butt as far away from your feet so long as the pinky edges of your feet stay together. So obviously if you've gone so far and it's just the big toes together, get closer so the feet can stay flat together. Use your hands to pick your butt up and put it back down again. And then use your arms to pull. Perhaps you're using your hands to push and lean forwards over your legs. Instead of rounding into the upper back, think about the chest lifting and the chin very slightly tucking as you lean forwards. Press the feet together, so aiming to get the outer aspect of the legs, frequently a very tight area. More flexible day, perhaps the arms are reaching for the feet or the ankles or the shins, and you can pull using your arms and your back muscles to get a little bit more action there. That cat, sort of seated curling exercise, try to stick your butt out a little bit more here as you do that pulling action. So get your abdominals switching on, lengthen through your hamstrings a little bit more. Inhale, bring yourself up. All right, now scoot your legs forwards, flex your feet. As you flex your feet, see if you can get up onto your sit bones. Be very honest if the lower back is rounding. If the back is rounding, bend your knees and see if that gives you the facility to get up onto your sit bones. The next thing is a little bit random, but quite useful. So either with the legs bent or the legs straight, your aim is to keep your sit bones, so the bottom of your bottom on the ground, but slide the right side forwards and left. So you're butt walking. You can use your hands down by your side if it helps your posture from your lower back up. Basically walking forwards. You're not going to go to the shops like this. Well, maybe you will. Spice things up a little bit. Then go backwards. Wardrobe warning, lower half items tend to slowly start to come off. So just getting, essentially like teasing the lower back, getting it moving, a little bit of like push-pull, as well as this being an abdominal and also building your hip flexors. Remember, this can also be done legs bent, just to make things a little bit easier. I say easier, a little bit. Left leg is going to stay forwards. Bring your right foot in towards your left thigh. If you're tighter in the hips and you feel like it's rounding you back, take it further forwards, maybe even further out to the side. But the aim is this leg is in a rotated position. Left leg is straight forwards. If your pelvis is now facing side on, get it so it's facing straight ahead, even though this knee is out to the side. Now the next piece has a bit of a prerequisite to it. If you can't reach the leg without rounding, then bend it so that you can have your foot. So it can really be anywhere as bent in as here, so long as the foot is drawn back. So some of you might be further, maybe further still. Take the right hand and mesh it over the left. Now similar to what we did cross-legged, pull with your arms, shoulder blades pull down and lift your chest. So again, it might be bent-legged, aiming to get the spine pretty straight as you pull against your foot, so the arms are active. Now wherever you've gotten to, perhaps the leg can straighten a little bit more, still with a flexed foot. Almost aiming for ribs and thighs to be in touch with each other. This left foot, exhale, push the ball of the foot forwards to give you a wee bit extra in that forward bend. So I say a wee bit, it's a big bit, it pulls you right in. So see if this gives you an interesting way to explore the back of your left leg. So if you're a runner, cyclist, avid sitter, it's good for everybody. If you basically exist outside of water, then you're going to have some sensation in the back of the leg. Okay, inhale, come up, change legs. So for now, especially as we're starting out class and warming up, this is more seeing what we're working with rather than trying to get your face on your feet. Perhaps the right leg is bent. Aim to get from like sit bones pointing underneath to sit bones pointing down. So pelvis position kind of from here to here. Right hand is coming over the top. Get the left hand to meet, interlacing the fingers. Pull with your arms, so I'm not only pulling so the arms bend, I'm also pulling the upper arms down. So I'm using these muscles at the sides that we interacted with earlier. Perhaps the leg can straighten a little bit more. Deep breath in, lift the chest. Exhale, press out through the ball of the foot, going forwards, but tuck the chin, lengthening through the back of the neck. Get your breathing steady, so you might be able to feel the abdomen pressing against your thigh. Inhale, scoop your chest forwards. Exhale, pull with your arms, shoulders and shoulder blades are down. If your head has dropped, lift up through the head, but tuck the chin, almost if you're trying to push something up at the back of your head. And play. Maybe there is a little bit more room for maneuver after a few breaths. See if you can stick your butt out a little bit more. Inhale, release the intense point on the foot, bring yourself up. Now, come on to a standing position. So you're going to ease yourself up. Oh, he says. So in your standing position, just getting a feel for the positions in the pelvis, and I've had a lot of people asking me about these lately. So there's tuck tailbone down and under. So if you do tuck tailbone down, you're thinking about your butt going down, so the sit bones point down. And it is possible, and you can do this yourself, to curl under. So if you curl, see how far it can go, you end up kind of, I call this the creep on the bus, but not anymore because nobody's on the bus. So then go the opposite way, stand back up straight, and then try to tip your pelvis forward. So tilting and sending your butt out. It should create like this lower back bend. So these two positions. And if from a very simplistic point of view, you think that this bit joins to this bit, if you're tight in your hamstrings, but you're not negotiating with your pelvis, then they're going to stay pretty tight. Most people, when I see them do forward bends, negotiate them from their lower back, and it ends up causing some complications here, when actually, if they bend the legs and use their pelvis, they're going to stretch here. So most times when you see me doing forward bends, my legs are bent. So from where you are, go for feet hip distance and set your forearms onto your thighs. So we're going to do a little bit like a forearm based cat. Inhale, stick your butt out, lift the upper back and lift the skull. Exhale, push into your arms, tuck your tailbone down, round into your back and tuck the chin. Inhale, scoop the chest forwards, but stick your butt out, head is lifting. Exhale, tuck tailbone down, round into the back. Inhale, scoop chest forwards, lengthen skull. Exhale, round into the back. Inhale, ease back into the start position. Now, bend your legs as much as you need to take your hands under your shoulders. It might be that legs are super, super bent beyond fingertips. This might be one of the occasions where, if you've got like a yoga brick, that the hands are on that so you're on an elevated surface. Inhale, scoop your chest forward, stick your butt out. Exhale, round into the back. Inhale, scoop chest forwards, aiming to stick your butt out. Legs are bent, feet are active. Exhale, round into the back. Inhale, scoop chest forwards. Now pause, fold down over the legs, but keeping the legs pretty bent and butt sticking out, and let your neck relax. If you put your hands on the blocks, maybe you can release your hands down, but definitely relax your neck. So it's giving you a feel for both hamstrings together. Usually a lot spicier when it's combined than single leg. Shift the weight towards your heels, come back up onto forearms on legs, shift the weight back, and then roll up towards standing. So in general, when we're doing these types of poses, I'm interested in you doing this tilt, this butt stick out, and really feeling for opening up into the upper back and using those postural muscles. So your next pose is going to use a wall. I'm going to show you first. If you don't have a wall, but you've got a chair or couch, great. If you don't have access to a wall, maybe you were doing this while camping or in a tent, then you can do this with the hands braced onto your upper leg, aiming at the back is scooping. Alternatively, this pose starts from sort of flat back position, feet stay hip distance, but they lengthen. So chest is scooping towards the wall, so it feels like a bit of a back bend, and then really focusing on sticking the butt out. When we get to stage 2, flexing the foot that's on the ground. If you are hypermobile in your knees, so for example, your knees lock out when they're straight, Some styles of yoga advocate this, some styles don't. I am in the latter. So if you know that your knees lock, stop them doing that and feel for engaging the tissue around them so you're not slamming back into hyperextended knees. So go for hands on the wall, feet underneath your hips, and aiming to almost replicate downward facing dog but with the hands on the wall. Step your right foot back and your left foot forwards, aiming for about 3 feet between the feet lengthways. The feet are hip width apart. Now I've got my toes lifted but not the foot, so the foot is flat. Inhale, scoop your chest forwards and up towards the wall. Exhale, draw your left hip back and then actively stick your butt out. So you're doing that kind of cat-like action. Push your hands into the wall. So if you feel like the wall is a lot for your shoulders, you can brace your hands onto your upper thigh and effect this like a back traction. So that can feel really great. Now in this position, think about sticking your butt out. So we've done some of that work already. So if you put your hands on your thigh, you might want the hands on the wall for stage 2. Flex your left foot. If your hands are on your thigh, you might find the balance point is suddenly a lot more challenging. Hypermobiles, this might be where you kind of snap into the left knee, so soften it. Also make sure right knee, you're also looking after that too. Like my dream for you is walking down the street, you'll be high kicking because your hamstrings will just be so loose. Or you'll drop into a split in front of your friends and just glide back up and keep on walking. All right, change legs. So completely different side, completely different pose. So right leg is forwards, draw the right hip back, thinking about hips being level. The more flexible you get, the more complicated that gets because the greater range of possibilities. Inhale, scoop your chest forwards and up towards the wall. Exhale, stick your butt out and draw your right hip back. Tread with caution so the knees aren't locking out, chest scoops forwards. Remember, you can do this with the hands braced onto your thigh to help create a little bit more back traction, aiming that the upper back is lifting a little bit more than the lower back. Stage 2, flex the right foot. If that's pulled you into a lumbar flex, go ahead and see if you can do that. Maybe it's less of a flexed foot, but it'll certainly be very hamstringy. Inhale, scoop your chest towards the wall, but stay in the pose. Exhale, draw the right hip back, stick your butt out, and if your knees have locked out, soften them away from that edge. Inhale, set the right foot flat, bend your legs, come forwards, and if you traveled from your mat, bring yourself back. So I'm going to show you the next piece. There are a few different elements to it. It starts laying on the back. Some of you will do this with the right leg bent the entire time. As your flexibility changes, maybe the leg is moving away. So it starts off knee to chest. Second stage is bringing the leg up, then extending the leg a few times and then pausing, and then extending this leg and kind of bringing it up and down a few times so we start getting some abdominal work. Perhaps holding the foot, calf, ankle, wherever you can hold and playing with that. Then it moves out to the side. So our stage 2, our phase 2, same hand on leg, opening out to the side, watching out for objects and making sure the pelvis doesn't go over to the side. I'm going to show you on this side. What I see a lot is this, and people are like, oh my god, look how flexible I am, my leg is on the floor. What has happened is your pelvis is toppled over, so if your left buttock had to stay down, the leg is suddenly nowhere near the floor and you have the rest of time to be able to work on that foot going towards the floor without this opposite hip lifting. So that's the premise of what we're doing just now. Okie dokie, come down onto your back. I'm going to turn around so closer to the microphone. So once you're down, bring your left knee into your chest. Extend the right leg long. Now, if you feel like you're super tight in the back of the legs, right foot flat is a good thing that you can use throughout this. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, press the left leg straighter. Inhale, soften that. Exhale, work the leg straighter. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Now take care, when you are getting the legs straight out, is your pelvis curling up. Very slightly feel for sticking your butt out so the top of your pelvis is heavy against the mat. So deep breath in, 2 more. Exhale, extend the leg, don't let the pelvis curl. Inhale, bend. Exhale, extend the leg. Now with the leg in its current position, hold on to the calf or the ankle. Some of you might be able to hold the foot, or if you've got a strap, you can always use the strap. Straighten the right leg. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, pike the right leg up, so coming up towards the ceiling. Inhale, send the leg long. Exhale, bring the leg up. Inhale, lengthen away. Exhale, bring that leg up. Inhale away. Exhale, lift the leg. Inhale away. Last one. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Now the leg that's in the air, flex the foot. Toes are pulling towards the shins, so you start getting into the back of the leg a little bit more. If you are kind of really bent up in that leg, use your right hand to press down and see if that helps you keep that leg down. More flexibility, you're pulling the leg in and just getting curious as to how close the thigh can get to the ribs. If your leg is just randomly straight really far away, I would rather see that your leg is bent and the knee close to your chest and the leg not straight than the leg randomly being straight but way over there. Okay, now stage 2. Put your right hand on your right thigh. Exhale, open the left leg out to the side, but make sure you don't topple over. So right side of pelvis is down, right thigh is down. Maybe your left elbow is on the floor. Maybe you can get the leg straight. Toes are pointing down towards the floor-ish, so you're kind of stretching onto the inside aspect of the leg. Be vigilant. Put the right side of your pelvis down. Now you can also do this using a strap, so you would hook around that foot and have the elbow close to brace and hold on to that if that's easier. Or you can hold your calf, your ankle, wherever you can hold. Inhale, bring that leg back up and bend it. Okie dokie, changing sides. Set the left foot down. Bring your right leg in towards your chest, hold the thigh, and draw the knee in. Do the work of pressing your pelvis into the mat, and then perhaps working the left leg straighter, maybe reaching out through that foot. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, draw the knee in. We're now moving into those leg extensions. Deep breath in. Exhale, extend the leg. Inhale, bend. Thigh stays as close to the ribs as possible. Exhale, extend the leg. Inhale, bend. Exhale, feel how your quads are helping with this, so it's big leg work. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten, or straight-ish. Inhale, bend. Exhale, work the leg a little bit straighter. Now pause, deep breath in. Exhale, pike that left leg straight up, so it's kind of coming from like a deadlift. Inhale all the way out. Exhale, lift. Inhale, send it away. Right leg is still in that good static place. Exhale, lift. Inhale, reach away. Exhale, lift. 2 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lift. Last one. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lift. That leg is in the air. Hold calf, the ankle, the foot maybe, but begin to flex that right foot. If you feel like your pelvis is curling up, go ahead and press your left hand down into your left thigh so you get that extra support. Reach out through the right heel. So we're getting into the calf muscles. It can always be an interesting area to navigate if you're tight in the back of your legs and suspect that maybe there's tension in the lower leg. Stage 2, left hand stays on that left thigh. Open your right leg out to the right, but angle the knee and the foot towards the floor. So leg is opening out to the side. Maybe the right elbow goes down. Maybe you're holding your foot. You can hold it anywhere along the leg to help you keep the leg up. If you are toppling over to the side, you might even want to have the leg out to the side on its own and use your arm to brace. It is a heavy creature. Alright, now inhale, bring that leg back into center. Draw your right knee into your chest and then bring the left knee in alongside that. Instead of having the knees close, open the knees and bring the knees towards your underarm. Press down through your butt so your pelvis is definitely down. Arms are going to come to the inside of the legs, but hold the outsides of the feet. So arms inside the legs, outside of the feet. Keeping the knees exactly where they are, gradually work the legs to 90 degrees. This is dead bug. If your pelvis is off the floor, your head is off the floor, can you tuck your chin to help press down through the back of the skull whilst pressing down through pelvis? So this is a particularly wonderful posture pose. So not that it is, it is a yoga posture, but it's creating some wonderful postural elements. So it's creating that flexibility in the back of the legs to help change how the pelvis sits. It's giving you an opportunity to press down through the back of your neck and build the postural muscles for the upper back so it's less rounded. So a big fan of this pose. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release the feet, set the feet down. Now, at this point, if you do have props, great. If you don't sweat it. If you do have props, put them to the inner thighs as close to your thigh as possible. So it could be a roll, it could be a block, it could be a rolled up towel, whatever it is. Feet are underneath the knees, heels pretty much straight down. You can always check that, are they underneath the knees? Feet are hip distance. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears for bridge, palms face up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, press into your feet, curl the tailbone up to help initiate the lift. Squeeze the roll or the block or nothing and lift the pelvis up. If you're not squeezing anything there, imagine there was something there. And work the thighs towards each other without allowing the knees to bump into each other. Inhale, scoop your ribs towards the back of your mat. Exhale, press into the entire sole of the foot, but lift the toe tips. Now take your hands onto the bottom of your bottom. As you do the action tuck tailbone, you should feel the muscles around there firm up. Feel for squeezing the low buttock muscles towards each other as well. So whether you've got props or not, you can still connect to this very important part. Take another deep breath. Exhale, lower down through your shoulders, mid-back, low back, and then set your pelvis down. Remove the roll or the block. Cross your left foot over your right thigh. So allowing the left knee to open out to the side, similar to what we worked earlier. So I'm a big fan when I do my own practice of repeating poses, whether it is standing, seated, or laying down, so that it's the same pose. Bring the right knee in towards your chest and hold on to your right thigh. As you hold your right thigh, draw the legs in and find where it gets interesting. That's going to be a good place to stay before it gets painful. Interesting is good, painful is not so great. Press down to your pelvis, tuck the chin to press down through the back of the neck. Now, if, and this is like the promise you're making to yourself, if the sensation in the left leg does not change and the configuration of the pose does not change, then you can work the right leg straight. If that's pulled you away from everything, then there's no point in straightening that leg right now. If straightening the leg, you're able to stay the left thigh where it is, then you can hold on to the calf, the ankle, you can still hold on to the thigh, and see what happens when you start working this pose, similar to the one we did seated, laying on your back. Again, posturally, if you feel your butt is curling off the floor, actively aim to stick your butt out so the top of your pelvis is on the mat. So it's a very different way of working. It's also much more challenging. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release the legs, swap them over. So right foot is crossing over left. Left hand holds left thigh. Exhale, ease the legs in. And take care that your left hip isn't swinging up towards your left ribs. Feel for leveling out through the pelvis. Both sides of the lower back are long and drawing the legs in. Now this might be a good place to stay. Perhaps working the left leg straight there. So only if you can definitely say that the right leg didn't come out of it, still pretty much in the exact same place. So that means that's a good place to stay for now. Where you are, inhale to scoop your chest towards the back of your mat, so thinking ribs are lifting towards the back of the room. Exhale, press the pelvis down. If your left leg is up, flex the foot. Inhale, release both legs down. So you've gotten into the habit of sending the legs up. For now, send your right leg straight up towards the ceiling. So think knee above pelvis. Maybe the leg has to be bent for the knee to be above. Put your right hand onto your right thigh. Push your hand into your thigh, really close to where your thigh meets your pelvis. Push your leg into your hand, and you should be able to feel abdominals and hips working. Right, and change legs. So take the left leg up. Push your hand into your thigh, really near to the hip crease. Push the leg into the hand into the leg. Left elbow is not on the floor. And relax it. Okay, we're going to use that as the basis for the abdominals. So it's more important that we've got this knee above hip action than the leg being straight and over here. So it might be that the leg is straightening, not fully straight. Interlace the fingers behind your head and then lift the head and shoulders up. Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath. Curl the pelvis up a little. Exhale, reach elbows towards your left leg. Send your right leg up, now pause. Take a deep breath in. Right hand on right thigh. Exhale, push your hand against your thigh. Push your thigh against your hand, get that right elbow off the floor, belly down. Inhale, bend legs, shoulders up. Hold the breath. Curl tailbone up. Exhale, reach elbows to right leg, left leg goes up. Put your left hand on your thigh, push your hand into your thigh into your hand, pull belly down. Inhale, bend legs. Hold your breath in, curl tailbone up. Exhale, elbows to left leg, right leg goes up. Push your hand against your thigh against your hand, pull belly down. Inhale, bend legs. Hold your breath, tailbone up. Exhale, reach elbows right, left leg goes up. Put your hand on your thigh, push your thigh into your hand, pull abdomen down. Inhale, bend legs. Hold your breath. Curl tailbone up. Exhale, elbows to left leg. Right leg goes up. Right hand on thigh. Push hand into thigh. Thigh into hand. Pull abdomen down. Inhale, bend the legs. Last one. Hold your breath. Curl tailbone up. Exhale, reach elbows to the right leg. Left leg straightens. Push your hand against your thigh against your hand. Pull abdomen down. Inhale, bend legs. Head down, feet down. All right, roll to one side, bring yourself up. Now, the next piece, you can use like the edge of your couch, you can use a wall. A wall would be preferred. It's just a wee bit sturdier with what we're going to be doing. But you do need to make sure you've got yoga mat underneath. So I'm going to show you this using the wall. You could just as easily use the edge of a couch. What is vital is that you watch the demo for this rather than when you're doing the pose, watching the screen. Because if you turn your head while the weight is on this area, well, I mean, it's not exactly going to go well. So what this pose is, it starts off with the feet pretty much against the wall and then the feet go up. So this creates our basis. So instead of bridge on the floor, it's bridge on the wall. Pressing into the feet. Now, your stage might be pressing one foot into the wall and then bringing the knee in towards your chest and working the legs straight. This might be a good stage for you. You can also use your hands to help support the back. So you either do 5 breaths with one leg or 5 breaths with the other. If it feels comfortable enough, then you take both feet off the wall and begin to work the legs in a little bit of a split, and you work 10 switches. So 10 leg changes. It looks like it's super fancy, it looks like it's super scary, but actually it's a very safe way of navigating the wall and inversions and getting this action in the legs, which is normally, like if you were to do it like without the wall, a little bit more challenging. Okie doke. So start closer to the wall, so I'll give you a sec so you can get to the wall. I've still got yoga mat underneath my head and neck. It doesn't really matter that there isn't yoga mat underneath my feet. Set the feet onto the wall. Now, as a general rule, if when you lift up you feel uncomfortable in your neck, lower down completely, shimmy away from the wall like a centimetre and come back up and see if that angle is better. It's all angles. If you get up and your legs are straight, you're too far away from the wall. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Deep breath in. Exhale, push into your feet, lift the hips up. You might need to lift the feet more, especially if your heels can't connect to the wall. So this is stage 1. You can be here, pushing into your right leg and bringing your left leg into your chest and working the legs straighter. That's 5 breaths per side. Or, if you're curious about the shoulder stand, that dynamic movement,
Use your hands on your pelvis. Elbows are shimmying in. Step one leg off the wall and then the other, so the weight is in the elbows. Then, working one leg straighter towards the wall, you can begin split switching. So you begin changing the legs in the air. So this is requiring a lot of balance. But if it's new to you, it should also be an act of elation. When you're done with 10 switches, or 5 breaths per leg, then you refine the wall. So one foot finds the wall, then the other. Don't just collapse. And then lowering down. So you're getting the shoulders coming down. All right, so if you're still up, feet touch the wall, bring yourself down. Roll to one side, it does not matter which, and then use your arms to come up. Now we're still going to stay with the wall. If you were using the couch for this, then the wall will be marvellous. Windowsills can work too. Be like a foot away from the wall. Come down onto your elbows and grab the upper arms. This is dolphin at the wall. Now, once you grab the upper arms, that is to determine how far apart the elbows ought to go. And then clasp the hands and set the forearms down. Now, there is a physical action that we've already done in this class. So I'm going to send one leg up. If I reach my heel up and then try and drive my heel up, it doesn't really do anything. If I set the ball of the foot high, so the toes high, I can lever through the heel, so through this lower leg action, to create a different sense of lift. So the aim is toes high and then lever into the heel. So from all fours and feet on the floor, inhale, lift between your shoulders. Exhale, squeeze your chest muscles, tuck the toes, lift the knees up. And if you don't have a wall, or you're not using a wall, then you can do this in the center. So obviously there's no wall. Inhale to lift your left leg, put the toes up high, but press through your elbows and forearms. Exhale, drive the left heel up and squeeze left buttock muscles. So feeling the strength and support you can get with that. I've got a little bit of a bend in my right knee just so I don't lock out the knee joint. So aiming to feel a lifting up through that left leg. Inhale, release the left leg down. Exhale, lift the right leg up. So aiming for high toes, hooking the toes onto the wall and pulling up through the heels so you get that lever action. Squeeze the right buttock muscles and reach out through the right heel. All right, exhale, bring that leg down, set your knees down, and then come up. So come onto all fours. From all fours, do the action of sticking your butt out, so you're lengthening through your lower back, and lift between the shoulders. During the next drill, it's personal preference, whether you have the feet flat or the toes tucked. I'm a big fan of toes tucked with this one, just for my knee positioning. Your aim is, when you do this glide back, normally the pelvis would round and the lower back would round. I want you to keep this lengthened, tilted pelvis action. Deep breath in. Exhale, send the hips back. So as soon as you start to feel a rounding in the lower back, don't go any further. Inhale forwards. Exhale, glide back. Inhale forwards and squeeze your hands towards your knees. Exhale, glide back. Inhale forwards. Exhale, glide back. Inhale forwards. All right, now this time I want you to bring yourself up. So you're standing on your knees. Again, feet can be flat or feet can be tucked. I'm a big fan of toes tucked for the positioning of the kneecaps. If you're on a thin mat, you might need an extra layer of yoga mat underneath those knees. On your inhale, do the same thing. So think chest stays lifted, sit your hips back. Exhale, tuck your tailbone down and kind of thrust the hips forward. So think you're going from tilt to tuck, but not tuck under. Inhale, sit the hips back. Exhale, press the hips forward. It's like a kneeling deadlift position. Inhale, send the hips back. Exhale, send the hips forward so you're getting the low buttock muscles engaging. Inhale, sit the hips back. Exhale, press. Inhale, lean the hips back. Exhale, press. Okay, because this will make sense really soon. Now, in this kneeling position, do the action tuck tailbone down. Maintain that action, but begin to lean back. So now the shoulders are leaning back. You should feel the fronts of your legs. Inhale, bring yourself back forwards.
Exhale, go back. Tailbone is still in that strong tuck down, so it's a big quadricep movement. Inhale, forwards. We're not going very far right now. Maybe go further. Exhale, lean back. Maybe you go a little bit further than usual. Inhale, bring it back up. All right, that'll do. So these are the physical actions that we need for sun salutation. So there are forward bends, there are levers to bring you up, and we're going to use those. So stand up, come to the front of your mat. So just know that as you move through the sun salutation, it alternates between tuck tailbone and tilt pelvis. All right, we kind of move between these 2 points every single time we change position. So start, point your tailbone down, inhale, bring the arms up. Forward bend, exhale, fold forwards, stick your butt out. Lunge, left leg goes back. So this is a tuck tailbone down position. So inhale, bring the arms up, tuck tailbone down and sink into the legs. Make sure that front heel is down. If it isn't, simply take it forwards so you can press down into it. Plank, hands down, the same deal. Step back, you were just in a tuck position, so shift into tilt. Inhale, shift the chest forwards. Exhale, bend the elbows and lower down. So we're just in tilt, come up onto your elbows. Now we go to tuck. Tuck your tailbone towards your heels, press into your feet. Inhale, pull with your arms, elbows lift. Down dog, exhale, hands under shoulders. Have the legs a little bit bent in down dog so you can focus on the action of pointing your butt upwards. Lunge, inhale, left foot comes through, right knee goes down. If that step through is tricky, so you might need to pull the foot forwards. Inhale, come up. Now tuck tailbone down and begin to lower into the legs. Forward bend, hands go down, step forwards. So neck is relaxed, legs can be super bent. Inhale, scoop your chest forward, stand up. Remember, you drive through your feet, tuck tailbone as you send the hips forwards, that kind of deadlift action. Exhale, hands together at chest. So think about it less, but still do everything like we just did. So do more, but think about it less. Inhale, reach the arms up, tuck tailbone down. Forward bend. Exhale, press down into your feet, bend the legs as much as you need to. Right leg steps back this time. Lunge, right leg back. Inhale, bring the arms up, sink down into that front leg. Plank. Exhale, hands are down. Step the feet back. Inhale, move shoulders in front of wrists. Exhale, bend the elbows, shoulders away from your ears. Low cobra. Inhale, pull with your arms, lengthening the ribs forwards. Downward facing dog. Exhale, tuck toes, lift knees. Lunge. Inhale, right foot comes through between the hands. So you can put the left knee down first and bring the right foot forwards if that makes things easier. Inhale, lift the arms. Forward bend. Exhale, step forwards, neck relaxed. Inhale, lengthen your chest forward. So think about that kind of squat position. Push through your feet, tailbone tucks down as you lift. Exhale, hands together at chest. I'm not saying this is the only way to do it, but I think this is a good way to work these two movement modalities. Inhale, reach up. Forward bend. Exhale. Lunge. Inhale, left leg back. Knee down, arms up. Plank. Exhale, hands down. Step the feet back. Inhale to move your shoulders in front of your wrists. Exhale, bend elbows. Low cobra. Inhale, pull with your arms so the elbows lift. Downward facing dog. Exhale, hands underneath the shoulders, lift the knees up. Lunge. Inhale, left foot comes through, right knee goes down. Inhale, bring the arms up. Forward bend. Exhale, hands go down, step forwards, neck relaxed. Shift weight towards your heels, legs are bent. Inhale, drive down into your feet as you stand. Exhale, hands come together at chest. For this next one, any sense of seriousness that you have in your practice, disregard it. There's going to be some playfulness and you're either going to take to it really well or really not well. Inhale, bring the arms up. Forward bend. Exhale. 90-degree lunge. Step your right leg back and go for the knee underneath the hip. Left leg is in front. Now you might want to put some additional padding under the right knee by folding over the mat. I'm working on 2 mats because my entire life is like Princess and the Pea when it comes to comfort. So feel free, tuck your tailbone down, push down into your right foot. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, spin the elbows forward. All right, now here's the challenge. Lift your left foot. So lift it up and balance. So there's going to be a fair amount of wobble, but seeing if you can effect tuck tailbone down whilst flexing that hip. If you're cramping in that hip, all right, well maybe this is something we need to do again rather than less. Ooh, maybe a wobble. All right, set that foot down, set the hands down. So set the foot back. If you're thinking, what is that yoga pose called? It doesn't really have a name, it's just a torture device. Inhale, move the shoulders in front of the wrists. Exhale, bend elbows. Low cobra, arms forwards. Inhale, pull with the arms, lengthening the ribs forwards. Downward facing dog. Exhale. The same 90-degree lunge. Set your left knee down, step your right foot forwards, and then come up. So aiming, feet are about hip distance. Do the action, tuck tailbone down so butt muscles are working, and push down into that left knee. Inhale, bring the arms up. So you're thinking weight and everything is coming over that left leg. Tailbone is tucking down, and then maybe you can lift that right foot up. So you might be kind of testing the water. If you're not doing it because you're thinking, well, I might fall over, no one will see you. And second, you will learn more about falling over than you would if you're sort of there not doing it. So this is a very low level of risk. So lifting the foot, tailbone is tucking down and working at what is happening in your pelvis. I always find it funny when people are like, I don't need to know this. You don't need to know how to work your entire pelvis, but it is your pelvis. It's the same people that don't get to know their car radio. How do you not know how to work your own car radio? Anyway, right foot goes down, hands go down. Step forwards. It should feel nice to not be balancing. Shift the weight towards your heels. Inhale, scoop your chest forwards, push through your feet to stand. Exhale, bring your hands together at chest. Sit down from here. I'm gonna let you back in. Right now, from this position, take the feet out to the side. Now, your aim is for a seated straddle position. Don't panic if this feels like it's a really tight pose. Our legs will be working bent. So if you've gone for your maximum straddle, back it off a little. So maybe you're working with like a 90-degree angle at the inner thighs. Bend the knees a bit, so not massive, just a little bit. Using your hands behind you, however far back you need to have them, rotate both legs over to the right. So your aim is not just to randomly move your feet, but to move your thighs. So your aim is to rotate the left knee inwards, the right leg outwards. Use your hands to help lift your chest up and lean the center of your chest towards your ankle. It should feel, personally, I find it feels disgusting on the outside of the right leg. So if you're thinking, yes, it does feel disgusting, we're in the right place. I cannot stand when like new agey folks make everything feel like it should be marvelous. Like this should feel like butterflies alighting on the noses of puppies. No, this feels like garbage seeping out of my leg into the floor and ruining my day. Maybe that's too much. All right, now inhale, bring yourself up. Bring the toes back through center, so you might find hands behind you helps you be up on your sit bones. Exhale, send the legs over to the left. So think one thigh is rolling out, one thigh is rolling in. It's an unusual position because we don't do a huge amount of this in a yoga practice. Use your hands behind you, rotate that left thigh out, and then lean in the direction of your ankle. So I'm using my hands behind, just like we did at the start. Maybe the hands are moving forwards. It's a big sensation on the outside of the leg. So runners, cyclists, IT band type people, this should start to speak to that area. It is particularly challenging. So especially the style of yoga that I teach, which is forest yoga, this isn't a pose that they do. And it's very tricky to get into IT band. So here you are. This is one from the vaults. Hashtag not forest yoga. All right, inhale, bring yourself up from there, bring the knees back through center. For the sake of curiosity, shift into cross-legged with the left leg in front of the right. Now when I teach cross-legged poses, instead of having the heels really bound in, which does weird things with the knees, like I've got one knee going down, one knee going up, Instead, move the feet further away. So you're thinking that your thigh bone is the distance that your shin is from your pelvis. So it's more square. Feet are closer to the knees and the feet are flexing. And this gets everything pretty stable. Instead of doing the weird move of pulling your butt out of the way, which wasn't in the way, put your hands down and pick your butt up and put it back down again, usually a bit further back. And then use your hands behind you. So if you tighten your hips, tighten your hamstrings, tighten your lower back, using your hands behind you is going to feel like a challenge. Perhaps you're using your arms to push forwards. You can use your hands behind to push forwards and go really, really far. If you think you might get better purchase taking the hands forwards, so take them forwards but pull with them. So the hands are pulling towards you to help you get the forward. I'm going to do this side on. If there is still a little bit more bandwidth, see if you can do the action of sticking your butt out to see if that changes the sensations around the lower back. So it can make things very, very active. And then lift into the upper back, but tuck the chin. Okay, inhale, come up, change the cross in your legs. So we're just revisiting poses we did right at the start. So finding this cross-legged on the other side, maybe you need to do that butt pickup. Sometimes it can be useful to move it further back. Use your hands, inhale, lift chest. Exhale, begin to lean forwards over the legs, but tuck the chin. Perhaps you can use the arms to really push into a different place. Maybe the elbows are coming down. If your pelvis is coming off the floor, you need to kind of anchor yourself back down. So it might mean there's a wee bit of a push while lifting the chest. It is possible, it's a bit contradictory, so you can use your hands to push your butt down and then use your lats to help scoop your chest forwards. That means there's an awful lot going on. Alright, now from here, inhale, walk your hands up. It is Shavasana time, the final relaxation pose. After doing all of this hamstring work, if you have easy access to a wall, Shavasana with the legs up the wall is a great way to teach your body familiarity with this kind of 90-degree position. So I recommend a little bit of space between your butt and the wall, so you get like pretty close, and then resting with the heels up, and then it's teaching your body to be more comfortable with this. If when you do this your pelvis is off the floor, you're probably too close to the wall and your legs are not going to relax. And normally your back, so you might need to be further away so you get that. If you're on your feet a lot or sitting a lot, the simple act of sitting down and having weight in your lower back will already make a big difference to the sensations there. So choose a comfortable rest position. You can also simply just lie down where you are. Choose a comfortable rest position and then close your eyes. begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness to breathing in a way that moves chest and abdomen. Let your senses move into the lower back, back of the legs, pelvis, sensing the work that we've done there today. Start to take some movement into fingers and toes. And then bend your legs, setting your feet to the floor. If you've got your feet on the wall, bring your knees more into your chest. Roll to your left, and then use your arms to bring yourself up towards a comfortable seat, so however you want to set up your seated position. We have one more forward bend to go. Bring your hands together at chest. Take a very deep breath in. Exhale, bow forwards. Namaste.